everybody. Welcome to the afternoon session here at the Sport Card Expo Toronto Fall 2025. How's everybody doing in the crowd? What a crowd. How are you guys doing? Good. They're all saying good. All right, good. Vendors, hope you're having a great time out there. My name is Jeremy Lee. I am the host of Sports Cards Live, podcast, YouTube, and more to come. Happy to be here tonight with some wonderful content creators. I am familiar with all of these lovely people. Troy Reich, we got Mojo, Jay, and we got Mary Gamble. Give them a little bit of round of applause, guys. They all came from afar to be here with us today at the Toronto Expo. And as I was walking up, I said to Mary, and I'm just going to ask her right now, I said, Mary, what is exciting you about the hobby right now? What's happening? What is exciting these days? How many mics do we have going? Yeah, go ahead. Take the mic.
That's good.
We're all live. Okay. Good.
As soon as he asked that question,
Hello?
I said it was a good question. I think when I started in the hobby 2 years ago, it's evolved so much. So I think the excitement with that, I think there's so many evolving shows in their specialties, but especially right now, I came from being a football creator, so tracking that market is definitely very interesting to me because it can get really dramatic in season. But that, and then how the values go up with any of the Ohtani cards after the World Series and the Blue Jay cards.
That's a good answer being here right now in Toronto. Jay, what about you? And Mary mentions the World Series, and I hope it's not a touchy point. I think we have a lot to be proud of right now as Canadians and as fans of the Blue Jays. But what are you guys noticing, Jay, down in the States when you're going to do content at all the shows? Was there much of any excitement around the Blue Jays, or was it mostly around the Dodgers and Shohei Ohtani?
I mean, I'm in Los Angeles, so we were all rooting for Ohtani and the Dodgers. You guys can boo. Boo. Hey. But, no, I mean, it's funny. All my friends outside of L.A., because I grew up in Northern California, they're all San Francisco Giants fans. They were all rooting for the Blue Jays. I mean, Troy will be able to know. Troy knows, too. But I think everyone was excited. It's an expensive team versus, what the Trey Savages probably made more money than him, honestly, last year.
Yeah.
So it's just cool.
The Instagram reel, they had it where Ohtani, what he was getting paid for the at-bat versus Yasavage.
How much was it?
Well, Ohtani got up to he was $300K for one at-bat, and Yasavage was at $1,000 or something. It went up, every second, what they make per second, and they showed it over their heads. It was crazy.
That's unbelievable. So, yeah.
Hold on. No, there's no tickers behind us right now with the money we're making. So
Yeah.
no. we're not on that same level. Not even close. We're talking about, we bring up money, and there's so much talk and narrative in the hobby around money and values. And Mary, you mentioned it with football cards in season, the volatility, values go up and down. As someone who's newer to the hobby, and as yourself, and who has really taken a big liking to it, how does that make what you do any more difficult? And is it really for you all about the money in terms of what you're buying and selling and dealing with?
Another good question. I think that with the second part of that question, I think I had started off of I have very expensive tastes, so I can't really buy into wax because I don't know, whatever. I want to increase the investment. So I think I started there, and now I've evolved from case hits and really loving animes. I've been really increasing my PC with 55 Bowmans of Mantles and Willie Mays. I can only really afford the lower graded ones right now, but that, and then kind of seeing the values change over time. I obviously wasn't present in the hobby for the COVID crazy boom. So kind of understanding where the market's at. And it's now been I guess my third year of in season versus out of season and seeing the fluctuation of the market. So it's always really cool to track that in each sport. And even I guess right now, I think gearing up for the World Cup, the soccer cards I feel are going crazy with Yamal.
We're obviously here in Toronto in Canada, and I know that Troy and Jay, you guys have been here several times. We've sat on the stage together a bunch of times already. Mary, it's your first time here,
yes.
I believe. I want to start with you, though, Troy, and we're going to go around. But what are you feeling, noticing anything different here at the Expo this time versus the past? Had the energy, the vibes, the crowd? What are you feeling? What are you seeing out there right now?
Yeah, I mean, it was actually, well, the first thing is it's just a lot bigger. Like, there's a ton of people in here. The show has grown. It's amazing to see. The hobby has grown big time in Canada from what I can see. But when you asked earlier, like, what's most exciting for you? The exciting thing for me was the first time I came here was like beginning, it might have even, I don't think it was 2022, it was 2023. And when I was buying cards from people and looking at people's cards, a lot of people were like, oh man, that's all it's worth. Like, I bought it in 2021 and I was breaking a lot of hearts, unfortunately. And today, a lot of people who have walked up, they're like, oh wow, it's went up. Like, it's always, it's more fun for everyone when the market is strong, the hobby is strong. Obviously, you know, can it continue forever? Will everything always go up? No, but just the energy has been very positive, and that's made it fun.
Jay, similar but same but similar for you. How are you feeling the energy vibes? The scene is here in Toronto this show compared to what you've seen at other shows in recent months in the States and elsewhere.
I mean, I'll just say this. Dallas card shows this weekend, and I ended up in Toronto, so it says a lot about how the United States shows. I love Toronto. I love Canada. First off, there's true collectors here, and I just love the energy here. I think I will always come to this show. Mike and Steve put on a great show, of course, but the people here in the community and the collectors here, like, it's an aura, dude. I love coming to Canada. I go to Dallas 6 times a year, and I skip Dallas to come here. So it says a lot about what's changed here.
Yeah, and I'm going to interject real quick because a bunch of people asked me that too, and they were almost surprised. They're like, really? You didn't go to Dallas? I'm like, in my head, it wasn't even a question. I was like, if this show is happening, like, this is where I'm going to be, you know? So that just speaks to how it's grown over here.
As long as this show doesn't happen when National or Fanatics Fest is happening, I will always be in Toronto.
But Burbank is going to happen when Fanatics is happening, isn't it?
I'll come here then.
Yeah. What about you, Mary? Is this your first time in Canada? Is this
Second time.
second time? And what do you think of the show here compared to what you've been seeing in the States?
I was so surprised. I mean, the foot traffic is insane. I mean, the build out is very similar to the largest shows in the U.S. So it was really cool to see this all get put together, and being the second time, but the first Canadian show I've been to, everyone is so nice here. And so that'll probably make me come back.
Yeah, no doubt. I've been to the National several times. I love it down there, the Burbank show. I've yet to be the Dallas show, though, Jay. Should I make my way down to the Dallas show one of these days? What do you guys think? You've all been?
Yeah. As long as it's not happening when this is going on.
No, I mean, this is.
No,
this
but
is
it's a really good
I
show.
call this the home show. This is the home show for us Canadians. Then we can venture our ways outwards. Let's talk about hockey for a moment. We're obviously in Canada. We're in Toronto. Toronto Maple Leafs, an original 6 franchise. We've got obviously Upper Deck with the license, so they're nice big. Their big installation out there with the second level. What do you think about the amount of hockey that we're seeing here? Are you looking for hockey? Do you deal in hockey? Are you looking for other sports? A lot of questions here, but I'll let you guys riff off of this. And what do we see in the States in terms of hockey? Are we seeing much hockey at the shows down there? Who wants to kick this one off? Why don't we go with you, Troy?
Yeah, I'm getting more into it because I'm from San Francisco. I'm from the Bay Area, and Celebrini has really, like, now I guess because the Sharks haven't really been very good, at least when I've been following it, and we definitely haven't had a young prospect like him. That really got me into it. So I started buying Celebrini cards, and that got me into hockey. And I was also seeing, like, the Cup and some of these other. It's cool that you can get such sick cards for not comparatively to, like, football or whatever. You can get really cool stuff. So I'm learning slowly but surely. I don't know the market very well. I bought an Austin Matthews auto this weekend. That was big for me. But yeah, I would love to get more knowledgeable. And the best thing to see, though, is, like, people just love hockey and they love hockey cards. It's easy for us to say, like, we all do a little bit of flipping here, but that can get tiring at times. But when I see people genuinely just love these hockey cards and pick up cool stuff for their PC, I really enjoy that.
When you said we haven't had a prospect in San Jose you never heard of Pat Falloon? You don't remember Pat? No. Anybody? No? Oh, great. There we go.
What year was that? You got to tell me what year that was.
1991. I
Okay,
believe.
yeah.
You weren't even born.
Yeah, it's before your time. That was he had the CC card in Pro Set, if anybody remembers. Jay, what about you, hockey-wise? You're wearing the Bedard sweater. I've been having a lot of people asking me at the booth this show, who do you think is going to be the better the better investment, the better player to collect, the better player will be Celebrini or will it be Bedard? And I don't know the answer to that, but Celebrini, yeah, we think so.
I
You
like
got some
that. I
votes
like
for
that.
Celebrini. Leads.
Bring that guy up here right now.
There we go. All right, guys. Thank you for taking part in the show.
Where are you going?
Jay, you're wearing Bedard. Are you a Bedard fan? What do you think? How are you enjoying the hockey hobby these days?
Last time we came here, the Bedard, I don't know, flagship rookie was thousands of dollars. Now I seen one for $750 for a PSA 10. That's crazy. Honestly, I'm glad I didn't buy the hype. I bought this because this was the poster boy, and I'm trying to get into hockey. But I've only bought 2 Bedard cards, but I just can't believe how much it's changed. Like when I was here a year ago, like a year and a half, whenever the Bedard card came out, I remember it was like $1,200, $1,500. Everyone was busting those update hockey boxes. Now, for me, I just didn't commit to it. I got to be honest with you. I haven't bought any hockey. The only hockey I'd probably buy would be probably Bedard now or a Wayne Gretzky auto because I like buying the GOATs. But I buy a lot of vintage baseball here. I'm looking for Mickey Mantles out here.
All right. What about you, Mary Gamble?
I think exactly what Jay was saying. I think I really honestly only know the main players. I think I was trying to track it after the Ovechkin record was hit. And then I was really into iconic cards last year. So the 79 OPG, Wayne Gretzky, but the lower graded ones I really like.
Sure.
And then kind of just understanding it. Like I went to my first Rangers game a year and a half ago or so, and just to see how crazy of a momentum and the energy in the building is, and that really also carries over to the collectors in the room. It's really cool to see that. So I've definitely been trying to get more and more into it.
Well, you're here. It'll be hard to avoid the excitement around hockey cards here. It's we love it up here in Canada, but we like baseball cards and football and basketball as well, and a bunch of other things too. I want to go around the horn now. The question is, I want you to identify 2 cards. One card is like a dream card that you want to own for your personal collections. And I'm not talking about a Honus Wagner or something like that. I mean something that you actually is within reach, let's say. And then what's a card that you are really seeing as something that is a good card that has a lot of liquidity, a lot of trading volume when you're traveling to shows that people are asking for and you can easily move in and out of. So what's a card that is great for the buy, sell, flipping activity, and what's a card that you all would really like to acquire for your own collection, whether here this weekend or somewhere in the future at another show? You want to go first, Mary?
Sure. I think this is going to be an easy answer for the flipping part, but I think as long as you get in for the right price, any case hit mainly, since you don't really have to know a lot about the players, as long as you get into them right, it seems to be that you can profit off of them because there's such a popularity for them. And then for me, just like I said earlier, I really want to grow my collection and grow up higher graded levels of 1955 Bowman, specifically the mantle. Oh, wow. I thought that would be really cool. I saw the other day a PSA 10 at my local card shop, and I was like, I need this one day. I really would love it.
Where is your local card shop?
So the one I went to, I am from Virginia Beach, Virginia, so I was there, but I live in New York City, so anyone in the Manhattan, Jersey, Long Island area.
How about you, Jay?
I'd say dream card, probably like I want a Michael Jordan Bulls auto. I've never owned one. Or I'd say the LeBron 0304 SP Authentic rookie auto. I really I love on-card autos, and the buy right now. You guys listen to this right here. It's in my pocket, all right?
Oh my God.
In the States right now, it's not a pump and dump. This guy's a legend. We got the buy of the year right here. Not the player. Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is booming right now in the States. So I got this on-card auto. I picked this up here, and I think Kobe's the move right now.
This is like shill bidding.
It's
We can talk about that. That's our next topic, right?
Live
Oh,
bid.
if-
Live bid starts at $1. Go.
Yeah, if you follow hobby content, there's a lot of talk about shill bidding going on right now. What about you, Troy?
That's content, not
yeah,
drama.
we can leave that for
Oh,
the
man, I thought that was
Instagram
gonna
and
be my
YouTube.
question.
What's that?
I thought that was going to be my question.
No, well, hey, speak to it if you want to.
I'm good for right now, actually.
All right.
Now that I think
Let's
about
hear
it.
your
Full
cards.
send.
I think one of the cards, I do want to talk about it, honestly. No, but the cards that I've seen for flipping, obviously repacks are really big right now, so eye appeal is really important. The patch autos just do really well, especially if they're PSA graded. You get a PSA 10. The comps and the value is a little bit in the eye of the beholder as well. So as a no good dirty flipper, that can be good sometimes too. In terms of what I want to collect, I'm always just buying Ronaldo and Messi. Those are my two. I love collecting them, and I just feel really confident in those cards long term. So that would be it.
We talk about flipping, and let's get into a bit of a sensitive topic. Seriously here. I find that in hobby content and in discussion, a lot of times people say, the flipper's this, the flipper's that. Like a flipper, it's almost a special breed of hobbyist in a way. And you all do some flipping, I believe, as far as I understand. How do you guys kind of respond or deal with that narrative around the behavior? And just to give you, I look at people who buy at one show and sell at another show is doing a bit of a service by moving cards to a better home, finding a home, moving them across country. Not everyone's moving them across country. Of course you can sell online and all that, but how do you guys deal with any negative connotations around what you sometimes do, which is referred to as flipping? Mary, any thoughts on that?
Yes, I've actually gotten that comment a lot recently, especially on my last YouTube video. So I was thinking about it, and I just think that there's two separate ways to look at it. I think when I first was when I first got introduced to the space, I honestly didn't have a lot of capital, and I wanted larger cards, and I had an expensive taste. So in that sense, it's like I'm kind of trading up or, buying to increase the investment to get my eventually like the card I really want. So that's definitely like that. And then the other part is like, oh, they say it's bad intentions, whatever. But I feel like everyone here in the room could say that the buying and selling world has kind of kept the hobby a little more alive in ways. And I definitely like carrying it with good intentions at the end of the day, but I think that's how we came to be. My content, I feel like I couldn't really give everyone pickup videos if I wasn't buying and selling a bunch of cards. So yes,
It's great to follow along with the activity that you and our fellow content creators are doing. So yeah, I think that's a great answer. What about you, Jay? Do you ever take any offense to some of these narratives and connotations, or do you just go, listen, look at this guy, he's just chilling on the stage here, or do you just take it in stride, buddy?
I can't sleep at night when they make these comments. No, I don't care. Dude, whatever, man. Everyone's got an opinion, man. My motto is what someone thinks of me is none of my business, man, because what I do is what I do. I do this to the best of my ability. If I'm going to flip a card, I am selling cards so I can keep my PC back home, because I'm not selling any of those DeMarcus cards. And then I sell so I can travel or I want to upgrade a card. Yeah. But I don't think there's anything wrong with selling anything or trading. I remember when I was a little kid, I remember I had gotten this, it was like a Mike Bibby or a Chris Webber card, and I was like, oh, I'm never selling this. And the old-time dealer was like, oh, you're going to sell. You're going to sell. I guarantee you're going to sell. 6 months later, I sold my first card, and I got a rush, and I was like, wow, I don't have to work at my dad's donut shop anymore. I could sell cards, and that started a whole thing, So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And last thing I'll say to address criticism, dude, it's all good. It's not that serious.
Yeah, that's a great attitude, Jay. You do a lot of videos, Troy, where you actually go through the mathematics of what you're doing. You're very transparent in your videos. What about you? Do you get any pushback, and how do you deal with it if you do?
You know what? Surprisingly, not a ton. And I think, maybe it helps the authenticity. I'm very upfront with it. I don't have anything to hide. But yeah, I think, kind of what Jay was saying. I tell people all right, if you're really a collector who will never sell anything, then feel free to throw the first stone, and I'll take it because that's pretty impressive. But otherwise, like we're all somewhere on the spectrum, so it's all about leading with respect, right? I deal with flippers, and sometimes they're my best deals because they're easy and the people lead with respect. But I've had it on both sides where collectors will annoy me and flippers will annoy me. It's just the entitlement, right? I think that's where flippers can get a bad rap. I don't feel entitled for someone to give me a good deal if I walk up to a dealer or they walk up to me just because I need a little room, bro. Like that stuff bothers me. But otherwise, yeah, just lead authenticity, respect, and I think people will be fine.
You mentioned entitled, and I don't know that I've ever really heard or considered the flippers being entitled, but collectors oftentimes feel entitled to cards of players they collect.
It's for my PC, and then you see it in another showcase 2 minutes later.
Yeah. Well, that would be my hot take when it comes, and I get it. It's obviously different if you're doing it as a business, but some of my most entitled in terms of to a certain price has a lot of times been, these people like, I don't know. It's just collectors. I think it can be tough negotiating with either pool. I'm always a proponent of, I told people, just there needs to be more respect in the hobby, regardless of what you label yourself as. Like, it's just so simple. I've had 5 to 10 deals walk away today, and there was no bad blood on either side. That's perfectly fine. I tell people there's no right or wrong answers in the hobby. There's no right or wrong deals. Like, just treat each other with respect, and it's going to be a better place,
We really have, I don't know how many vendors are here, say 400. We have 400 flippers set up out there, myself included. We're buying and selling cards all the time. An LCS does the same thing. They sell cards to sell them. So I think it's an unfair rap in many cases. So we talked a bit about, we weren't really getting into the whole shill bidding
let's
thing.
do it.
But Troy wants to talk about it.
Here we go.
Last time we were here with
shill bidding.
Chris Sewell, baseball card collector, investor, dealer, and I was just talking to him. He's like, I loved it when you were on stage and you're like, let's just stir the pot a little bit. So let's
go.
Chris Sewell, Mr. Even Keel.
Well, no, he was saying that's why he liked it that I said it, because he was like, I wasn't going to do it, but.
So what do you guys think about, and I don't know if anyone in the audience is aware of some of this recent controversy. We've had some, shill bidding is when you bid on your own item, whether you've listed it yourself or you've consigned it to a third-party consignor to list for you. The general rule, the etiquette in our hobby is just don't bid on your own cards. If you're going to sell them, let them go. But people tend to bid on their own cards anyway, and sometimes they get caught. And it's an uncomfortable situation, and it's kind of known as market manipulation in many ways. So we could just talk in general, but I do have a bit of a question I'm curious about. We have a lot of auction houses in the space, and a lot of auction companies will be able to bid on behalf of their consignor up to what is one increment below a reserve. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but it's still pushing up the bid higher than it would be if the owner of the card himself wasn't pushing that bid up.
Oh, that's true.
It's true. It happens in many auction companies, and I don't know that the hobby's really that aware of it. And I guess my question is, well, you can talk about whatever you want to do with this topic, all three of you, but I feel like the hobby doesn't really understand a lot of the policies around auction companies and reserves and house bidding and these things. Any riff off of that all you want, say whatever you'd like to. Troy, back over to you.
Oh man, yeah, I'll start it off. I mean, I think it's tough because once again, I don't know, we're kind of glancing over, like we're super into the hobby content world, so we've probably heard a lot about it, but once again, shill bidding, there's been rumors, accusations, whatever, of people bidding up their own items, and it's been controversial. In general, yeah, I like to think it's as simple as just don't bid on your own items, but I think that there is some, like someone made the argument of, I would be willing, if it goes this low, I would be willing to pay that price to have my card back, and I'll pay the auction house fees and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, the logic there checks out. You're not misleading anybody. You're not looking to manipulate the market in that case. You genuinely just want your card back, and you're willing to pay a fee for that. I still personally wouldn't do that. Like I said, I like to think it's pretty simple, but I just thought that was an interesting argument that I was like, okay, there's something there.
I like how you put it. You wouldn't do it, but you're not sure if it's unethical, really. And I think that's where the brain trust is at right now, and we have people on both sides. But the key there, which is and I think you're doing the right thing. Just don't do it. You'll stay out of trouble that way, if nothing else. Jay, any thoughts from you on the topic? You're free to pass on this one too, if you want.
If you shill bid your cards, you gotta go, bro. I think it's ridiculous. The high-end market is so manipulated. There are a lot of high-end cards that I'm telling you right now, there's some manipulation going on, and thank God I don't deal with those high-end cards, but there is shill bidding, there's fake comps. You'd be surprised. I'm the one speaking. I don't care. There is fake shit going on, and I think it's ridiculous. And it's been going on since the boom. I just know, and the last thing I'm going to say on it is just be careful when you're bidding on a card. Like, check comps, see if the sale was verified. But there are people that are trying to make these prices up, and they got cards they don't even sell the cards in their showcase. It's a museum at that point. And those cards have been in those showcases for years, and they're making up comps. And you know what, man? It's ridiculous, and I'm tired of it.
Too many people do fall for it, though, and
it's bullshit.
Take those comps as accurate valuations. It is. What about you, Mary? Any thoughts on?
You have to.
Mary, by the way, if you
I need you to love me to know the truth.
Mary, if you'd like to change the topic, you're welcome to do that as well.
You have to one up Jay's energy right there.
I completely agree with both of them. I honestly think that sometimes I'm not in the loop, being the only girl. So I was a little late to understanding that the shilled market of especially higher end cards, but I did lose a lot of money last year buying Trae Young and Jaren.
Oh no.
JJ.
Trae Young is the most shilled player. Do not buy Trae Young cards ever.
And Jaren Jackson Jr.
They're shilling those two players like crazy.
Crazy.
I'm gonna go crazy.
I spent like $600 on like an auto that definitely was probably $100.
But that's a lesson, right?
It was a lesson. It was for sure a lesson. But now I know.
So if that was one of the more valuable lessons that you learned by making what we could now look back as a mistake?
For sure. That, and I think as being my own business, and when I was starting out, I get really hard on myself with just small losses or whatnot, but I feel like everything you can do is learn from it in the sense of grading, buying and selling. Miscomping cards. That's going to happen, especially the miscomping cards. But to look out for a sale that's like the last was $600, but it was maybe best offer, but the other ones are $150. Definitely watch out.
I was going to go off that. That's probably a nice way to kind of wrap this up, or not wrap this up, but put a ribbon on it for people in here. Like, I'm sure, including myself, like, I'm not spending $50,000 on Golden on a weekly basis, so the shill bidding doesn't affect my everyday life that much. But when it comes to comps and stuff, like, comps don't take it as buyable. I think that's a mistake a lot of people take in the hobby. It's like, oh, Jaren Jackson PSA 10 sold for this much. Like, I hope Mary doesn't take offense to this because I know you're starting out, but I tell people, like, just use your brain. Don't just be like, all right, this is the comp, this is what it's going to be. Look at what the Raw sold for. Look at what the PSA 9 sold for. Or also, most of the people here, the longer you're in the hobby, you just kind of get a sense for things. Even if it's higher, right? There's been certain cards today where I'm like, oh, the comp's 500, the guy wants 600, but like I really think this card is worth. I paid over comps on a ton of Messi cards today because I'm like, I believe in this card. I know what other stuff does. So for good and for bad, don't be too married to the comps.
And I want to add in, I'm passionate and upset about it because I just want people in the hobby to have a good experience. Like, if you get burned in the hobby and they come to me and they tell me about it, like, oh, I bought Zion and I listened to, I'm not gonna say that. I can't say, if I say that, it's gonna be bad. I'm just saying I don't want people in the hobby to get burned, and like that's why I'm fired up about it. Because if people shill, it's ruining the market, and there's some BS, and don't fall for the BS. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Let's talk about some lessons we've learned, because Mary had one about buying something that didn't work out. What about you guys? Have you do any big mistakes you've made, lessons you've learned that you then use to kind of make sure you wouldn't do them again? Even if sometimes you can make the same mistake twice, we can do that as well. But what are some of the more valuable lessons that you guys have learned firsthand? Jay, Troy, whatever comes to mind first. Go ahead, Troy or Jay.
So I went on a side quest. I was going to build one of the best shops in America. I did not build my card shop. And the lesson I learned behind that was I learned about inventory management. I was not managing my inventory very well in the hobby. We were traveling to shows. Come on, Mikey. I'll wait till he's done.
Mikey, we're not done this one yet, buddy.
He was racing to get me to this panel, and now he's interrupting me. No. But, like, honestly, inventory management, everything I buy, I put in an Excel sheet, I comp it, and I talk about it on my videos. Honestly, you inspired me, Troy, because he keeps it very tight and organized. Because you'll buy a card, and you're like, oh, wait, I don't remember what I paid for it. Or someone offers you, and you're like, at least I can Command F and be like, all right, look up that card. All right, I bought it for $120. He's offering $150. I'll make $30. All right, let's run it.
Right. I mean, if related to that, if we're only ever buying and selling at the last comp, nothing's ever going to move. The hobby will not move. The values won't change. They do because people are willing to sell for more, or people are willing to let go for less, and that's how the hobby ebbs and flows. Troy, what about you? Any mistake come to mind that you've made where you learned a great lesson from?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's actually good timing here because we're all talking about the positivity of the hobby, the energy, the excitement, and I love that. But it's also a reminder, the biggest mistake for me is during the pandemic hype, I was like, oh, these cards, if it 3x'd in the last month, then I just need to buy it now and it's going to 3x again. That's not how it works. So I think it's just a reminder, everyone have fun with the hobby, but just definitely always be careful. Like at some point there will be a downturn again. Things can't go up forever. And it's the market has been described as frothy right now. So especially, once again, if you buy for a lot of people, if you buy a $20 card, one day it's worth 15 or 10, like it'll be all right. But just more expensive cards, just be cautious. And just because over the past couple months something has gone up doesn't mean it's going to continue going up. I'm sure Mary knows too, like, football yes. QBs, you were talking about off-season, in-season type of stuff. So just always, that was a big mistake I made and something I didn't know. So I always just try to keep that in mind going forward.
Good lessons, guys. I always say lead with transparency, passion, authenticity. You should have a great hobby experience. Thank you guys for joining. If you have any final messages for the crowd, for people watching, feel free to share them. Jay.
Don't shill bid.
I knew he was going to say that.
Appreciate that, Jay. Thank you to Mary.
Thank you,
Jay,
guys.
Mojo, and Troy Reich, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today.
Thank you guys for sticking around and listening. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to us.